Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday and happy meteorological spring to you. Oh, what an exciting holiday in our household. Man, we just celebrate. Well, not really, but it is kind of exciting to have warmer temperatures coming our way, to have the thought that at least we're going to have some warmer temperatures coming our way. It's interesting because there's not a lot of fanfare with meteorological spring. It starts. You do notice the sun's a little bit brighter. There's nothing different really today versus yesterday. But you just expect things to start warming up at least some days. And then today, of course, we had one of the colder days that we've had. So there's that. But we really have a lot to talk about in the forecast here, everybody. I mean, I'm so excited and optimistic about this forecast because we're going to have not just a 1 or 2 day hit of some warmer air coming our way, but we're going to have a multiple day stretch where really the entire eastern half of the country is going to just come outside and meet your neighbor again. I'll show you the temperatures. And we've got a lot to cover. I want to kind of touch on the drought that we've got here in Northwest Indiana, not so much, but more so across the state, and how we are going to just squash that drought with rains this week. We do have some kind of some flood issues that we'll have to keep an eye on, especially as we go latter half of the week into next week. I'll show you that in terms of how much rainfall we're expecting. We'll obviously talk temperatures, and we'll plan out your week ahead because you've got a lot going on, I know. And we've got a lot to talk about weather-wise coming our way. So I want to make sure you guys know exactly what's coming our way as well. How about these longer days? They're giving us a longer look at our satellite, our visible from space. I love it. We get a really crystal clear view for longer of the clouds and kind of the interaction, what's going on. So we'll talk about that in a second. We'll let a couple more people join. We'll say hi to our early birds, then we'll get on with the show. Let me thank our sponsors. Guys, we've got 2 new sponsors month of February. They're now carrying over into March, obviously, but these are our newest sponsors. So, I know a lot of our sponsors are household names now, hopefully to you. If you need anything local in any of these trades, just go to them. They're all fantastic. But our new ones, Service Master by Tecton, they're one of our newer ones. They'll help you get back to normal with their disaster restoration services from floods. Let's say you have a flood in your basement, or, God forbid you have a fire in your house or business or anything in between. Service Master by Tecton, they're there for you. They take care of this stuff. They do commercial, they do residential needs. You can reach them at 219-476-2222. Their website is smrtrestore.com, or you can find them on socials. If you don't know what to do next, once you have an emergency, they do. They'll walk you through and take care of everything and clean it up. They're amazing. Kind of like just a best friend that you never knew you had in an emergency. Service Master by Tecton. Kraz Construction, they're our other new sponsor. They're amazing. They do fantastic work. You should see their portfolio. They were founded way back in 1927 right here in Northwest Indiana. Kraz Construction provides durable windows, doors, and siding to help Northwest Indiana homeowners weather every single season. If you're looking to do maybe you have a spring budget, you're getting that tax return back, you want new windows or a couple windows replaced, they'll do that. They also do new doors, maybe new entry door, or if you need new siding. They also do fences. They do attic insulation, pretty much anything you think of around your house, they'll take care of it. And they've been around, again, for almost 100 years now. So they're doing something right. Krazman.com, that's KRAZman.com, or 219-248-3911. All right, we'll jump on over to our familiars. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. She's amazing. She knows spring is around the corner, and now's the time to prepare. That means getting pre-approved for a new home or looking to refinance your current one. You can find her here on Facebook as Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl. Don't wait for those warmer days. Reach out to her today. I was listening to a podcast. I listen to a lot of financial podcasts. They just interest me. Finances interest me in terms of investments and all that stuff. They were talking about the housing market and how the housing market is going to do much better this year as rates come down. Supply is up there as well. So all that being said, if you're looking for a new home and maybe you've been holding off on that, this could be the year to do it. All right. Numbers aren't too bad right now. So reach out to Kate if you need anything. Halcyon Water Solutions, they provide the highest quality water treatment with exceptional service all across Northwest Indiana. They do water softening, filtration, salt delivery, maintenance. They've got all your water needs covered. Call 866-97-WATER to schedule your free in-home water analysis today. If you have any water needs, if your water tastes weird, have them come out and test it for you. They'll fix it. They have amazing systems that are fairly inexpensive to make your water the best it can possibly be. EarlsHeating.com, the place to go for all your AC needs. Why would we need an air conditioner? I'll show you here in the forecast. Maybe not that drastic, but if your furnace or anything HVAC related needs tweaked, They'll focus on that indoor environment while we focus on the outdoor environment. Let Earls take care of that indoor environment, including humidity. They'll take care of that as well. They can tune up your furnace, get you brand new filters, whatever you need. Or they are now scheduling to get ACs up and running for the year. How about that? Most trusted heating company in Cherville since 1976. Go to earlsheating.com to get them on the schedule. Romansroofing.net is your place to go if you need a new roof. The winter has had some wind and snow and cold, and it's taken a beating on those shingles. If perhaps you need a new roof, they're the place to go. They do amazing jobs, not just on residential properties, but commercial as well. Maybe your business, if you have a leak, or maybe you're just in the market for a new roof, they'll certainly do that for you. They also provide retail and storm restoration options. All inspections and estimates with Romans are completely free. That's awesome. Get them out to give you a go-to or quote. Go to romansroofing.net or give them a call, 219-838-9111. TNT Tree Service out of Valparaiso, family-owned company. They take down trees, and they do the tough ones as well. As we have spring bloom, maybe you have a dead Halloween tree that's in your yard. They'll take care of that for you. Over the next 6 months or so, we're going to start to deal with severe weather here in Northwest Indiana. So if you guys have any problems related to that, let TNT Tree Service specialize in that storm cleanup for you. Give them a call, 219-300-6256, or visit them at tttreeservice.com. Michael Minogue from Minogue.life. That's the website. He's been serving Northwest Indiana in the world of Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance. He knows his stuff like the back of his hand. He studies like thick books like this every single year because there's so many changes. And he says that some plans with Aetna, United Healthcare, and Humana were discontinued at the start of the year. If this happened to you, you have to revert only to Medicare Parts A and B. The good news is there's a special enrollment period that's almost up. And overall, that plan that they offered you, it may not be the one for you. So he'd love to sit down with you. You want to understand the plan that you have, and he can help you enroll and verify that your providers and medications are covered, and that you can take care of all that open enrollment period. So end of March is when you have until that for your Medicare Advantage plans, Part C. Okay, and he'd be happy to explain that to you. Minogue.life is the place to go to there. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. They're awesome. If you guys need a new car, or you're looking for maybe something used for a kiddo of yours, make sure you go to Grieger's. They'll take care of you. They've got brand new Jeeps ready to go for the 2026 season. The Wagoneer is especially amazing. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram right there on US 30. FBIbuildings.com. If you need a new pole barn constructed, they do residential, commercial. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest. They have an amazing portfolio on their Facebook page as well. FBIbuildings.com. They do commercial and residential. And then finally, last but not least, our favorite plumber here in Northwest Indiana, tigerplumbing.net is the website to go to. They come out for free to analyze the problem. Let's get those outdoor spigots fired up and ready to go. Let's get that garden ready to go as well. Too soon for that, but you can always plan ahead, and Tiger Plumbing is there for you. Maybe you need a new faucet installed, or you're redoing a bathroom with that tax return. Tigerplumbing.net, the place to go, our favorite plumber here. All right, let's say hi to our early birds. We've got Mary on board. Hi, Mary. Thanks for joining us here on our Sunday evening. Mark is with us as well. Hello there, Mark. John Alexander is with us. Good afternoon to you. We've got Derek with us. Hi, Derek. Everyone's doing great. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel as well. Everyone is doing great. We thought it was norovirus that was hitting our family through our preschooler. He came home and oh gosh. So we're all like, waiting. And I was at the grocery store, and some other people were talking about this too. So apparently it's going around. If any of you have it, throw it in the chat. Not the gross stuff, but just, what's going around out there. But anyway, we thought that was going to like plague our family last week, and no one got it. Nobody. We were fine. And so we were like, okay, because we found out like 3 of his classmates had it, and his teacher as well, like the next day. So we just thought we were just sitting ducks. But anyway, that didn't happen. But then this morning, my second youngest, Silas, you know what happened? So we had to make kind of a plan B where Mama stayed home and I took the kids to church. It was, we'll see what happens. He feels great though, and we feel great. Like these kids, when they're 2, they just bounce back like nothing happened. He's been fine all day. So we'll see. Hopefully you guys are healthy as well. Jeff is with us this evening. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for joining us. Mark, I appreciate the kind words. Carol, hello to you. Valpo Dodd is with us. Hello. Happy spring to you. It's meteorological spring. Sal, thanks for joining us, buddy. Tom's with us as well. Tammy, good evening to you. Jessica Ann, Thanks for joining us tonight. Kathy says, happy meteorological spring. Thank you, you too. Gail, everyone. Yeah, we just explained it. They're doing okay. Teresa, hello to you. Allison, hi. There's that. Let's go. Mark says the country needs more front porches. This way we can get out of our own little bubbles and understand each other. I agree with that. Front porches bring a lot of people together. One of our favorite experiences was when I was forecasting down in Georgia. We lived in the historic district in the town that we were in. And we were renting. We didn't buy, obviously. We didn't know how long we were staying down there. But we had a huge front porch, and everyone in that community got out, and you'd come over. And it was the deep south, too, so you have that. But, man, everyone would just come over and sit on the porch for a while. You'd have sweet tea, right? And all that was just kind of cool. So there's that. John Alexander talking about the planets aligning today, if it's still there. So he has a telescope. Cool. Yeah, he should be able to get a good view. We've got clouds moving in, though, John. That's the only thing. And we've got the blood moon coming up over, I think that's Tuesday. Let me read to you guys real quick. Nick's with us. Hi, Nick. I see your comment. Healy's with us as well. A little bit more winter. Let's see. Becca says flu B in the household. Maxwell's excited about the thunder. Lisa's with us as well. David, hello. Yes, you're absolutely welcome. Thanks for letting me chat. I'm getting a little chatty here. I'm sorry. I'm very conscious of your time. But we have an astronomer that works closely with us at the TV station, and he's so cool about putting things into perspective. So let me talk to you about this real quick. This applies to us here in the region as well, about the total lunar eclipse. All right, so it's Tuesday, March 3rd. So I'm just going to read this email to you because he explains it so well. We have a total lunar eclipse coming. No special equipment is required for the total lunar eclipse. You just have to wake up really early. Now, compared to solar eclipses, which we had in 2017 and 2024, lunar eclipses are very unique. They're slightly more complex. So here's why. There are two shadows to consider. All objects, this is just awesome stuff. All objects which orbit our sun, our moon, and Earth have two shadows. They have a very dark shadow called the umbra and a lesser grayer shadow called the penumbra, which you've heard about that in science class, right? Sometimes we have lunar eclipses which only pass through the penumbra. I always want to say penumbra. It's penumbra. Anyway, these eclipses are uninspiring and barely noticeable. However, Tuesday morning, look to the west. This is going to be a total lunar eclipse where the moon will pass through the dark umbra, which is that real dark spot, and it's very, very noticeable. So this is a cool one rather than kind of an unnoticeable, not very exciting one. So it has to be dark outside, obviously. We often refer to this type of lunar eclipse as the blood moon. In our region of the country, we will not see the blood moon effect, and we will not view the eclipse in its entirety. Okay, we don't fall in that spot. However, what we will see, all times are during the early morning hours on Tuesday, all right, is when we'll see anywhere between about 2:40 in the morning, somewhere around there, until it sets in the west, which would be around 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so between 2 and 6 is when you'll see that take place, where it gets darker, and then eventually, once it's setting, it'll start to get lighter, but it won't be in its entirety. So that is kind of just a nice, not Reader's Digest, but diving into an actual astronomer's take on what we're going to experience here on Tuesday morning. Okay, so Monday night, go to bed early, get up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You should be able to see it. We are going to have some clouds working in, though. That's the only thing we're going to have to contend with. So let's talk about those clouds. Hopefully that was helpful. If you guys don't want me to cover that stuff, I won't. I don't want to waste your time. All right, so let's dive into the forecast. Here's what we've got today. Big area of clouds out towards our west. We just have high and mid-level clouds right now. So obviously, this system is that one we were talking about last week that had, remember, we were looking at the potential for some kind of heavier snow in Indiana. And this thing really fell apart starting really Wednesday and Thursday of last week. So this is a big nothing burger. However, there is going to be some snow downstate. And you saw our post from earlier in the day where we talked about that. This system out west, though, is the game changer. Okay, and here's why. You can see there's lots of energy with it. But what we've had over the weekend is this trough. See this trough kind of sitting? It's like a little bowl across the Great Lakes. Notice how the trough is heading out, and we're replacing it with a flow that's more zonal out of the west. And eventually we're getting into a ridging pattern. Okay, I'm going to fly through this. There's a lot of information to cover here. So trough here in the east, slight ridge out towards the west, nothing too dramatic, but watch how it transitions this week, where all of a sudden much of the country is under a ridge. Okay, that is our friend this time of year. It's going to shut off the cold air, and we're going to replace it with some nice warm air. But then what happens later this week into the weekend is we develop a trough and a bigger storm system out west. when that happens, what goes down must come up. And so we get the trough out west, and then we develop more of a strong ridge out east. This is all in due product to a high pressure, which will be a nice big Bermuda high off the East Coast. This is how we get our heat waves in the summer often, where we have numerous days in the 90s. You have to have a Bermuda high off the East Coast. This brings a prolonged flow of southwest wind into the region and into the entire eastern half of the country, which does two things. It warms you up, but the other thing it does, it brings a lot of moisture. We are opening up the Gulf, and we have not opened up the Gulf of Mexico for moisture really all winter. We haven't had, and we mentioned this last week, any huge storm systems other than that blizzard off the East Coast. We haven't had a lot of snowstorms. We've had a lot of hits of air coming out of Canada where there's not a lot of moisture. But this is really the first time, and it's a prolonged period of time, that we're going to be starting to throw in copious amounts of moisture in our atmosphere. So it's going to rain, basically, okay? So first things first, we'll take you through this week's storm system tonight. There will be some snow downstate. You see how this evolves. Some of these areas may get a moderate burst of snow for a couple hours or so before it pushes on out. Indianapolis kind of on the border of that. They're expecting maybe an inch or two out of that at worst. That will spread over into Cincinnati, and then it's out of here. Okay, and then we're quiet. And then you see, as we go into Tuesday, rain starts coming at us from the south. Okay, that's our pattern change, which will be kind of slow. As we jump into that pattern change, this takes us through really March 10th, 11th, and 12th is what we're looking at. Above average temperatures, eastern half of the country. Remember, that's that dip out west and that big ridge out east. Also above average precip as we open up the Gulf. So it is going to get really rainy, especially areas in really any area in green, but the best chance for that going way above average is down towards the south. We're going to get a lot of rain here too. Okay, so let's take you through it. We're going to talk rain first. I'll show you totals. We'll talk drought, and then we'll jump into temperatures at the end. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about in terms of temperatures. So here we go through time here. There goes our little snow system down towards the south. Here comes the rain. Monday's fine, but it's cold. All right, Tuesday, it's not going to be great, but it's going to get better around here. We'll likely have temperatures that are jumping into the 40s on Tuesday. Not bad, but close to average. Tuesday, it starts to rain as well. We'll have scattered showers that develop. There'll likely be a bigger area of rain that moves through maybe our southern counties. We'll see how far north it gets, but it turns rainy on Tuesday. This system will dive south briefly with a stalled out front on Wednesday. So we're looking at mainly dry weather here on Wednesday. Still kind of cool, like in the 40s. We'll talk temps in a minute. And then Wednesday night into Thursday, we start to get another push of air where we get moisture that comes up, but there are bigger things happening out towards the west. This is when the western U.S. has that big trough that digs in. So yes, we'll have kind of that front come north again, but that whole thing kind of washes out as the West Coast activity really takes hold. And once that West Coast activity gets going, that's when, like if we didn't have that, we would have this front and we would never really warm up. It's that West Coast activity with that low that comes in that's really going to bring everything out of the Gulf and bring that warm air north. So it really doesn't care about this front. So Thursday, again, Wednesday night, Thursday, we bring in more rain. This could have a little thunder with it as well. And then that thing kind of washes out while our West Coast stuff gets going. All right. And that means on Friday, we've got a southwest flow that goes all the way back into the central plains. Okay. That is how we get really warm. So our temperatures are going to go from, it's not too bad, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into, wow, all of a sudden it's summertime. We've got humidity to speak of on Friday, and that will carry us through the weekend. I'll show you that here in a second. But you can see more rain coming in with that front. This is Saturday into Sunday. That backs off, but we've still got that western trough, so we're still mild. And then we get more rain in here right there into perhaps Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the following week. All right, and it gets real rainy for a while, all the way through middle of next week. Then the bad news, all right? And this is something, we're talking over a week away that normally I wouldn't talk about, but the models have been really consistent in showing this. We're going to get another shot of cold. And I'm not talking just like March cold. This is going to be like February, January-ish cold, okay? And this shot comes in different ways, but you can see how we go from warm. This is Wednesday the 11th now, so not this Wednesday, the following Wednesday. So just to backtrack, we are warm and rainy starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, multiple day stretch of rain and warmth. And then we'll see how this evolves, but the model's indicating there would be some kind of heavy wet snow on the backside of this. Cold air would come diving in. It would be blustery and cold. We'd get snowy around here again. This would be like the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th even. and then we eventually will start to play with some warmer air again. But we're not done with the snow yet. All right, we averaged 5.5 inches in the month of March. We may get it here. If we can get it out of the way here mid-month after a little teaser and go back to warmth, that would be great. But just know we're not quite done with it yet. Okay. All right. Let's talk rain. This is the latest Euro. Okay. Look at this rainfall. This is this week. Okay. So here's Tuesday, lighter amounts. Here's Wednesday, heavier amounts downstate. We're fine. This is Thursday. We're starting to add to it. Here's Friday. And then here's next week. So this is weekend into next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yikes. I mean, that's a lot of rain for a lot of areas. And all of it seems to drain right into the Ohio River. So water levels are down. We've got a big old drought. Let me show you that. This is how much of the country's in a drought. Look who needs it. Ohio, Indiana, much of the state, Illinois, and then all the way down the Ohio River Valley, and then down into areas like Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma. All right, let's go back to this. Who's getting the rain? Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Illinois, Indiana, the spots that need it. Tell me Mother Nature doesn't know what she's doing. This happens all the time where you get these areas where you're like, oh, they're never going to get out of a drought. And then boom, we're out of it. This happened to California and the West Coast multiple times over the last decade or so, where it just balances out. This is a drought reducing, if not drought busting rain that's going to come the next 2 weeks here across a good portion of the Ohio River Valley. All right. How about that? Do we have to worry about flooding? I'm not too concerned right now. I think this rain will be more spread out than what we would need to produce some big time flooding. Now, I'm talking locally, downstate, down towards the Ohio River. If they're getting 6 to 7 inches in a matter of a week and a half, that is a problem. All right. And they will have some problems down there. The good news about this also, though, is there's really isn't much bad news around this. But the good news also is that the fact that we're going to warm up. And so because of that warm up, our ground, if we had this heavy rain on top of like our ground right now, we would have problems because that ground is still frozen for a good depth of it. And so that water can't soak in like it would in the summer or springtime. It would just sit on top of that ice and slowly melt it, but it would flow into all of our rivers and streams and stuff like that. Versus this is going to soak in because we're going to be nice and warm out ahead of it. So we're going to start to melt and warm up that ground temp. Okay. So again, drought areas, lots of rain coming over the next 2 weeks. Let's talk temps. Goody, goody two shoes. Let's do it. All right. So here we go. Tomorrow, not bad, as I mentioned, but not great. We can do better. We'll be in the 40s tomorrow, still cold. And then Tuesday, pretty similar, maybe a little bit warmer up in the 50s. But look at the warm air building down towards the south. Tell me there's not a front in there. Mid-80s in Texas versus, 40s and 50s off towards the north. All right, here it comes. This is Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday, not bad. Should make it up into the 50s. Again, this is because we're starting to warm here where I'm circling it with my mouse cursor in this area. We're starting to warm there because of that activity out west. Is really starting to push that warmth north. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, 60s perhaps. Will be close to 30s to the north. So Thursday's numbers kind of in question. I would imagine we'll make it in the 60s, though. It's been pretty consistent. And then here you go. Friday, it's here. Oh, yes. Maybe 70 on Friday. Maybe more than that if we get this warm front far north. It tends to stall this time of year. But either way, we're going to be warmer on Friday. I'm not going to put a number on it yet. And then Saturday, that front goes by, but really kind of stalls and washes out as new activity forms out west. So that'll warm it up again. So still looking warm on Saturday. Remember, it does come with some shower chances. And then there you go. There's Sunday. Not bad. Mid upper 60s, maybe near 70 again. But look at how much of the country is going to be warm. I mean, spring bulbs are going to be popping out of that ground, all right, by this weekend, especially with some rain to wake them up. It's really just going to feel like spring. And I'll show you humidity here in a second. I wasn't going to, but I need to show it to you. And then here you go. One more last day here. This is Monday into Tuesday. Front starts to come in from the west. Got us in the 70s, says the Euro. There's Tuesday. Here's our final push. Look at the difference Tuesday. Again, this may change, but it's got 46 in Gary, 67 in Rensselaer. Yikes. That's a front. And then we get cold air around here. And there you go. There's your hit of cold. Yikes. Temps may not get out of the 20s a couple days in that following week behind that. Okay. And then it looks like we warm up. This will be our pattern for much of March where we have real cold air, we have real warm air, and it just battles back and forth until that warm air finally wins out. Okay. So let's put some numbers on it. This is a GFS. Okay. This is all deterministic. Ensembles are pretty similar in this. Ensembles are a little down from the Euro I'm about to show you. But you notice numbers, not terrible. 40s to start the week, 50s midweek, 60s to end the week. And then here's your cold hit come March, 12, 13, 14, 15. But I want to show you the more optimistic model, which is the euro. Okay, I do tend to lean euro. Euro tends to be the first on 70-degree days. It tends to be the first one to say, 60s is conservative, 70s what we're going with, and we're going to stick with it. And you can see temperatures 40s again Monday, Tuesday, 50s to near 60 Wednesday, Thursday, and then that warmth hits for at least 4 days here locally, where we get maybe up near 70. I do think we'll break the plane and get into the 70s at least one of those days. But really, really nice stuff. And then the downfall, not too bad on the euro. Remember, the GFS had this in the 20s. But this general trend is what I want you to take away from it. All right, we've got step up in temperatures all the way through the weekend. We'll hold the warmth and spring-like for a while, and then we do turn colder, but briefly, but we do turn colder mid-month. That's what we're looking at. All right, one more thing I want to show you. Let's show you dew points. This is fun. This talks about how humid it is, right? So we have bone dry air right now. Dew points are in the teens. You're zapping yourself and everything. You've got dry skin. You're running the humidifiers, just super dry. That's where we've been all winter. Here comes the humidity. Takes a little bit of time to get here, but it gets here. Let me get to the 12Z real quick. And you can see right there. So by Thursday, we'll have dew points in the 50s to near 60. That's summertime level. So it will feel humid outside. Unbelievable. And then we get another surge there Friday and the Saturday. Front comes by, dries us out. More Monday, Tuesday, and then one final push right there. But our dew points are going to get up into the 50s and near 60. That's just incredible stuff. So we've got a warm up on the way. Are you guys excited? I'm excited for it. We deserve it this year. A lot of years it's like, we didn't have much of a winter, but this year we did. So there's that. All right, go ahead, throw your questions in the chat. I would be happy to answer those for you. Otherwise, we'll get you underway. One final tidbit for you. Sunrise time today. I'm going to do a post on this. Sunrise time today was 6:22. Okay, sunrise next Sunday, 7:11. Okay, so remember, with the time change, which is next weekend, we spring forward, the sunrise it's going to be darker on your commute to work, okay, because that's where the switch is. Sunsets, that's where the good news is. Today's sunset, getting ready to occur here, 5:38 p.m. Next Sunday, 6:47 p.m. Almost 7 o'clock sunsets. They're back in a week, so we're getting there, right? That's another sign. Tyler says, I think winter is over, Matt. Tyler, let's not push it, buddy. We could get something real interesting on the backside of all this warmth. We really could. I've seen it before where we just have such a rude hit of winter coming back. And again, it would come with something like, where is it? It would come with something right in here, like something like that, where we get some kind of heavy snow where the rain changes to snow and it gets this bitter cold all of a sudden. Let's see. I didn't look at the latest GFS, the 18Z. Let's see how it's progressing, that cold air. Oh, gosh, look at this snowstorm off towards the north. That's that cold air moving in. Yeah, something like that where we get rain. It's like 70 degrees and all of a sudden it's snowing outside a couple minutes later. Yeah, GFS keeps us pretty cold there too. And then it has a major snowstorm on the 17th. I mean, we're not done. This is the stuff we have to play around with here in the forecast. So we'll see. All right. Yes, Sir Watts, absolutely. So we've got a couple severe weather potential windows we need to watch. And really the big one for me is that final one where we get that push of cold. So it'd be right in here. And that would be not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I guarantee we would have severe weather somewhere with that. I'm not saying it would be locally, but somewhere in Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, okay, as that cold air punches in. But out ahead of that, we could have some severe weather with this one right here. This would be Saturday's frontal boundary. There's not a ton of forcing with it, but there's a decent amount of low pressure and a decent amount of high dew point air. So we would have the CAPE levels to be able to do it. So we'll have to keep an eye on again this weekend. Next week on Wednesday. And then in terms of this week, I think we would probably get some thunder with this on Thursday. I'm not too worried about a severe potential with that locally, though. We'll see. We can actually look up lightning, too. This is kind of a cool product. This shows you the potential of lightning, like where lightning is going to occur and the frequency of it. And you can see this is that Tuesday system right here. Downstate. So again, I'm not worried about that. But right here, I could see some thunder in there. Yeah, and the models are saying that too. So Wednesday, Thursday, we could have some elevated thunder. I don't see a severe threat with that. Let's see what it thinks for the weekend. Yep, there you go. So Saturday, it does have some storms, some cellular storms in here. So there would be severe weather threat this weekend. Not a huge one, but it would be there. And then this would be the bigger one right in there. Yes, see how that's showing up? This would be Wednesday, Tuesday into Wednesday next week. Not this week, the following week. Again, and the timing could change on this. The frontal boundaries could change on this as well, but that's what I'm looking at right now. We're definitely going to get thunder out of one of these rounds. We have about 3 rounds of rain and storms coming through. So there's that. Great question, though, for sure. Lisa Smith says, need to get my dehumidifier going. Yeah, we're going from one to the other, Lisa. We've got humidifiers still running now, and we'll need to suck that moisture out of the air. We're such creatures of comfort. Becca says, bring on the warmth. Absolutely. So there's that. Let's see. Yeah, so here's the question around El Nino. Watching the Weather Channel, do you think El Nino is making a comeback? I do. I do think El Nino is making a comeback. Yeah, I think we all agree with that maybe by summer we'll be jumping into El Nino pattern. It should be a slow transition. It's not going to be like an instant overnight. And we've been kind of at a weak La Nina for a while, or a La Nada. But either way, yeah, it looks like we are making that transition. That's pretty typical. I mean, every 2 years or so, 2-3 years, we usually jump back. Sometimes we'll have a period of time where we don't have anything. But remember, our weather is not driven just on El Nino and La Nina. It's really not. We've had, both kinds of summers. We've had hot summers and cold summers with El Nino. We've had hot summers and colder or cooler summers with La Nina. There's a lot of other things that come into play with that. A lot of other teleconnections that we have to look for. So, but to answer your question, yes, I do believe that we are heading towards an El Nino here as we go throughout the summer and the rest of the year. Maxwell, warm fronts bringing elevated thunderstorms. Yes, absolutely, Maxwell. Boy, you got it, buddy. That's absolutely true. Warm fronts tend to bring us a lot of lightning, and they tend to bring us some hail too, if they're good ones. So we'll see. Let's see. Ruth, no problem. Hey, Matt, off topic, but my daughter was asking me if ocean effect snow is a thing, like in that huge snowstorm that hit the East Coast last week. Ruth, we actually talked about ocean effect snow, not with that system, although it did exist with that system, but we talked about that with a system, I think it was a week prior to that, where we had cold air all the way down to Florida, and it produced, and yes, it's a thing. Ocean effect snow is a thing. They also called it Gulf effect snow, which was crazy because they had snow coming into Tampa, and it was flurries, but they had the same process takes place in that takes place over Lake Michigan. So you have warmer water right in the Gulf, and you have cold air going over that warm water. It's the same process. It doesn't matter if it's salt water or not. You get evaporation, you form clouds, and if you have enough evaporation, enough lift in the atmosphere, you can produce rain or snow with that. So yeah, that happens out over the oceans all the time. We can even see it out over the Pacific Ocean sometimes, especially in the fall. If there's a big storm system coming in, you'll see a lot of pop-up clouds on the back side of it. Really fascinating stuff. But yeah, it absolutely exists. Great question on that. Let's see. Kathy, I see your question now. Weather next week in southern Florida. I have not checked. To be honest, I usually know most of the country. Southern Florida is probably the part that I stay away from. Let's go southeast for you. And let's talk about you going to the Keys or just like Fort Lauderdale. Don't need to know the specifics, I guess. But either way, I'll give you the forecast for both those. So you want a forecast for next week, southern Florida. All right. So my guess is that they would be mainly dry because we would have the moisture coming around that high. Let's see if I'm right, though. Okay, this is this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So there you go, mainly dry. I mean, hit or miss showers. I don't think it's lake breeze season yet down there. I mean, it seems like they have that every day, but they would have a few hit or miss showers on Monday. Tuesday, not bad. Again, stray shower. Yeah, they're mainly dry as they wait for this front. And then when that front comes in with that hit of cold for us later next week, that's when they would get around to storms. They would probably have severe weather with that. And that would, right now we're looking at Thursday, Friday. So the 12th and 13th around a severe weather heading through all of Florida. Okay. And then it gets colder behind that. But temperature wise, you should be golden. It should be nice and warm down there, nice and humid as well. Let's look 6 hour max. Let's do that. So 80s. Oh, wait, I'll go to next week. Here's Monday. 80s. I mean, you get it. Yeah, it's going to get a little hot out ahead of that front. So maybe mid upper 80s for you. So very good. All right. Let's see. Renee says, Northwest Indiana sure needing rain in other places. Yeah, we sure do, Renee. Absolutely. Sir, Sergeant Waz, you're absolutely welcome. D, hello. There's no such thing as being late to the party. Rich says, Embry had a great picture. Yeah, me too. Oh, yeah, Embry's picture I posted. Yeah, thanks for that. Kathy, you're welcome. Have a great trip. And Raul, I see your messages here. I do speak Spanish, but I don't translate that fast. So I do see what you're saying on there. Severe weather north of, I'm trying to translate here. Any translators? It's good though. Florida, electricity, lightning, stuff like that. Yeah, they get big storms down in Florida for sure, Raul. Lots of big storms down there. And then I see, I'm going to try to translate here in the city in Puerto Rico, where you are, the weather, something advertising operation, maybe something. Oh, I don't know all that. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad. But anyway, if you have any English, Raul, I'd be happy to answer your question on there. But yeah, I do see what you're saying about Florida and all the lightning down there. It's incredible. And that's year round. And we're going to start to bring that north as we go through time. Raul, I appreciate you visiting us here on our region weather page. I certainly appreciate that. All right, guys, radio time, X-Rock 103.9 Indiana, 105.5 Z, 107.1 all week long. We've got your forecasts. We're good to go throughout the week to keep you updated. Also, regionweather.com. If you're not signed up for those daily emails, go ahead, sign up for those on regionweather.com. Right-hand side of the screen, you'll say sign up for emails. I'll type something up every morning, send it to your inbox. All right, that way you know what's happening locally. And it's not from an app and it's not from AI. Not yet. All right. You're welcome, Susan. Thanks for joining us. All right, you guys have a wonderful Sunday evening. I do appreciate you spending time with me. And we'll talk to you as we go throughout the week, okay?